Live from Studio 3, this is Packaging Today with Evelio Mattos, Adam Peak, and Cory Connors.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Monday, the 17th. We got a bunch of stuff going on today. We've got Cory Connors at Corrugated, host of Sustainable Packaging Podcast.
Good morning. Good morning. All good here. Getting over a cold, but feel really good today. But
Nice.
sound different than normal.
Yeah, you really do, man. Let's turn this up over here. Yeah, and then you got me, Evelio Mattos, host of Packaging Unboxed. And of course, the Packaging Today show with Cory Connors and Adam Peak. Adam is out today. He is on holiday. He's on a cruise.
Well-deserved trip. He's been working really hard.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, we all have.
Yeah.
So what do we got, man? It's the 17th. There's a bunch of stuff going on all over the place. We're hoping to get a guest on this morning. Good morning to everybody out there. Just drop us a line where you're watching from. Always good to see how far we get this reach. And there's a ton of stuff happening in packaging, man. So what do you got going?
Exciting stuff. Lots of big events coming up that I'm really looking forward to. We've got the SPC, the Sustainable Packaging Coalition, April 24th in Austin, Texas, and I'll be there for 4 days. So the next Monday, I'll be live from that event for this podcast.
Yeah,
and then after that, the week after that is Waste Expo in New Orleans. If you're interested in recycling and waste management, this is the show for you. It's in New Orleans, May 1st through 4th.
Nice. Are you taking your top off?
Yes, obviously. Yeah. That happens at the front door. I should have mentioned that. That's part of the experience.
It's part of it, right?
It's an amazing event. You and I have been a few times and gotten the honor to speak there a few times. It's exciting.
Yeah, no, 100%. So what do we got? We got from Barcelona. We got Elise from Barcelona. We've got Rachel Pena from San Luis, Arizona. Rachel, thanks for joining us. What do I got? I got LuxPack. LuxPack's coming up next. That is
New York,
May 10th and 11th. Yeah, so if you're in New York or heading down that way, definitely come check me out. Talking about artificial intelligence and packaging design. That'll be really good. And then soon after that, we've got Milan, the 16th and 18th, 16th through the 18th. So I'll be heading to New York, speaking there, and then coming home, packing, and heading back to Milan and speaking there. Super excited about that. Pizza's pretty good.
Yeah,
pizza's pretty good.
I can't wait to get to go to that show with you someday. It's an amazing experience, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. We got Hugh coming in from Greensboro.
Hey, Hugh, good morning.
North Kakalaki, and we got Brenda from Southern Jersey.
Hi, Brenda.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. So we're trying to get a guest on here today, which we'll see if he can join us or not. It's Lumbani Mavula from he is out there in Malawi, and he's basically melting plastic, like literally in an open pit, and turning it into construction equipment, materials. Adam, Cory, and I have gone ahead and donated some protective material equipment for him because, one, he's doing great stuff out there. He's helping recycling, but two, you got to do it safely, right? And there's so many things that can happen. You're doing it in shorts and flip flops. You gotta really protect yourself. That stuff's not the best,
right?
But we got our buddy Kate.
Hi, Kate. Hey, Jonathan.
From Dip Already. Check her out. Her sustainable and amazing shampoo, conditioner, bars. Great design. We've got Andrew.
Hey, Andrew.
We got the Netherlands.
All right.
We got somebody from Boston. So good stuff. All right. So what do we got going on in the news while we wait for our guest to join us? We're seeing I don't know. I'm seeing a bunch of stuff in the news in terms of packaging. What are you seeing?
I'm seeing lots of different laws pertaining to we will do this by this date.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is I just interviewed my friend Paul from England, and he said basically what they're doing in England is saying, if you are no longer going to be able to make claims on your packaging that says
Mhm.
that you're going to be more sustainable by a certain date. That's going to be illegal.
Yeah.
And I like this a lot because what it does is it takes us away from we're going to do it someday to this is what we're doing today.
Yeah.
And I think that's the issue. The example I gave him was when I launched my podcast, Sustainable Packaging, I got tens of thousands of interest and likes and support. Uh, and I hadn't even done anything yet. All I did was talk about what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And I think we as a society have a tendency to celebrate new things, and that's exciting and great job. But if a company announces we're going to do this by a certain date, we should be less excited than when a company says we've done this and here's what we've done.
Yeah. And things change every day. So we got, I don't know. I saw something posted this morning. I was trying to pull it up here, but it was a yogurt container for Moo,
Mhm.
and it showed what the packaging looked like 12 months ago and what it looks like today. And what it looked like 12 months ago was it had a big claim on there that said 100% ocean plastic, and there was like a little wave at the bottom with like the recycle symbol around it and said 100% from the ocean, something along those lines. And then
Yeah.
today it changed the claim to, it just says ocean bound
Right.
plastic. Right. And a part of that was a group in Australia went ahead and, they made a complaint to the appropriate authorities and said, look, this is greenwashing. The assumption here is that this is coming from the ocean, the way that they're pitching it. And it's actually not. And they're actually pushing for further clarification on the pack.
Yeah.
What they're aiming for is that it says that it should say on the pack, made from post-consumer waste.
Right.
Right. Just to be super clear with where this plastic's coming from, so it doesn't create confusion, right? Because consumers are making buying decisions. They might feel a little bit better by buying something that says ocean plastic versus, post-consumer waste, which I think a lot of things today are made from.
I think we've been really frustrated with the ocean-bound plastic thing. I think it's a little bit hard to interpret the reality, and I think you and I agree there.
Yeah, no, and Andrew's right. It's like how are these things gonna be regulated? And the truth is that there's not like an actual body to regulate this.
Right.
There is, but there's not. There's people out there that are supposed to be, but I mean, it's overwhelming. Like, where do you start? Like, every single brand out there has some kind of claim, and you've got to then go back and make sure and check it. FSC, at least you've got
Yes.
tracking, but it's not necessarily the best solution out there. So yeah, just definitely interesting. I think making it really clear as to what the materials are is important. But yeah, there's just a ton of stuff happening. I saw some stuff happening in Europe where, like you said, you can't make these claims. There's definitely fines that are happening. We're seeing a little bit more of that. The brands are trying to figure out where to pass those costs along, whether they're going to pass to the consumer or their manufacturer. There's so many different areas that can really impact, a brand and the consumer.
Right. I think this is going to cost money, and you're exactly right. Who's going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for the fact that we have to repackage these items or come up with new packaging for these items? We all know that tooling and print plates are expensive, but that cost will get amortized over, and as we see as consumers, costs continue to rise, and this is one of the reasons for that.
Yeah, I did want to bring this thing up I saw earlier this week, Matt Hansley had posted that like Star Wars packaging had gone away from plastic windows.
Nice.
And, bad transition here, but I'm just jumping right in. They'd gone away from plastic windows. All their packaging had like illustrations on the outside for the little action figures with the Kung Fu grip. Like, all those had moved away from the plastic window. Well, they're going back to plastics.
Yeah.
consumers have complained about not being able to see the actual product, the action figure inside. So they're moving back to plastic.
That's a really good point. And consumers are pushing back on different sustainable packaging initiatives. Another one with trayless meat.
Mhm.
That we saw a big debacle there where consumers are like, this doesn't look the same. I don't like
Right.
this. This isn't what I'm used to. It's not as appealing. It's not as appetizing, but it's 70% less plastic. Don't you care about that? Well, yeah, but I also want it to look really beautiful and pristine, and I don't mind the styrofoam that much. And that's what you're hearing from consumers. They're literally voting with their wallets, and uh, it's frustrating. But
Yeah.
it's we need to transition some of this packaging a little more subtly and less all at once, because consumers are going to be frustrated with it.
Yeah. No, 100%. I think um, I'll go ahead and share this, but I
Yeah,
think we first saw this plastic resurgence with Entenmann's, right? We were talking about this before, where
yeah,
they went
donuts.
away
Yeah,
from they went away from the window and they started printing pictures of the cookies and donuts, and sales went down. Right? People wanted to see what they were getting,
right.
and
Consumers don't trust the print; they trust the actual being able to see. And I understand from the Star Wars collectibles that makes sense to me. A lot of these things don't even get unpackaged ever,
right? No, exactly.
right?
Yeah. So like this
Yeah.
is the I don't get all my news from Ghostbuster News here, from the Ghostbuster News website, but this is the quickest one I pulled up.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're bringing back plastic. I mean, people want to see all of the different components that are in this box, like what you're getting.
yeah,
They love seeing the background print. They love seeing, all this different things that you see within the pack,
yeah,
in the way that it's organized. Once you cover
yeah.
that up, it's, uh, you know,
What accessories does it come with? What for collectibles? It's a big deal. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, this is like what you're. I gotta, being honest, like this image of Luke, or whoever this is. Yeah, Luke. Um, that's not what the toy looks like,
right.
right? So maybe they did themselves a disservice by not actually including a like upfront illustration of what the product looks like, or a photograph of what the product looks like, because now
Yeah,
you're dressing it up, right? Now this is an illustration. You've got a lot of shading. You don't see any like the joints.
yeah,
Um, so it's kind of a letdown when you open it up and all of a sudden you've got all this, it's a plastic toy,
right.
right? So I think that part didn't help itself,
Hmm.
where consumers are kind of being let down. So again, it's kind of the same thing with the food with Entenmann's, right? It's like they make it look beautiful, and it's donuts that have been sitting there for a month,
Yeah.
and make it look like that.
Even though they're probably still delicious. That's very true.
Yeah,
Yes.
100%. I will eat Entenmann's chocolate chip cookies out of a trash can. They're so good.
Yeah.
But what do we got here? We got Ben saying it'd be great to see a tray that was recyclable instead of just styrofoam.
Yeah. Agreed, Ben.
100%.
Why can't that be made out of molded pulp or something else? There's lots of new materials that are coming on the market that can totally replace those polystyrene trays. Well said.
Yeah. No, 100%. We got John Papp saying consumers want visibility and sustainability at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. It's a juggling act, right? There's going to be pros and cons to each direction. You're seeing the same thing in fresh produce. People want to see the fruits and veg, but they also want sustainable packaging.
Hmm.
Yeah, we've kind of talked about that before with like the cucumbers and like zucchini that they wrap in plastic.
Yeah.
I'd learned that a lot of times they do that because they're shipping those items with tomatoes. Like
Right.
they happen to be coming from the same type of farms, and with those two products, tomatoes off gas, and what they're off gassing actually promotes ripening in the cucumbers. So you're going to
Right.
have product that's helping the other product go bad faster. So they wrap it to protect it. And of course, on the consumer side, you don't really see that and think about that.
Right. And there's nothing sustainable about rotten food. We've talked about this. This is so it's a frustrating thing for people to realize. So what do we do instead? We should recycle that plastic, and that to me is the answer, at least temporarily, until we figure
Yeah.
out something else. So I'm seeing more and more programs, curbside recycling programs for uh, soft plastics like low density polyethylenes and things like that that are used to wrap this kind of thing. Uh, we just signed up for Recycle Plus with Waste Management, and I think we're the only people in the state because they haven't been announcing this. I've never seen another one.
It's just you.
It's just us. But I think if they would promote this and they would tell the consumers about it, there would be a bunch of people that would be excited to be able to recycle their plastics curbside. I'm able to recycle thermoform plastic trays and soft plastics and batteries and light bulbs and all curbside now, which is really cool.
Oh, and so I hadn't heard of that. You mentioned it
It's
before.
it's brand new,
Is
just
it
came out.
is
Yeah,
it
Waste
only
Management.
in Portland or is it everywhere?
Great question. I don't. That's the thing. They haven't made announcements. They haven't been talking about it. It's and by they I mean the haulers.
Yeah.
A friend of mine he's a garbage man, and he picks up waste, and they have zero customers for this for his company, and it's because they haven't advertised it. There's no benefit to them to do it, unfortunately, and that needs to change. There needs to be some kind of a program that makes it valuable for the haulers to get on board with this.
Mm. Okay. No, for sure. I see Elise saying it's just data collection projects. They can argue the why they have plastic there. Not sure if they intend to remove it from the collector's items, but having options for e-com. Yeah, I think just that going back to like the plastic window discussion, it's like, yeah, you should have an option for e-com, but of course you can't package the same item in two different ways, hoping that one's going to be e-com, one's not. There are definitely some challenges there. But going back to like the Recycle Plus, if I go to Waste Management here in Phoenix on the website and I pull up Recycle Plus, that's a whole different program. Here, it's a program that educates children from kindergarten through high school, is what Recycle Plus is here in Phoenix.
Yeah,
I
think
still
it's
waste management.
It's an Oregon thing because of what happened with Ridwell and how they the haulers sued Ridwell, said, "Hey, you can't haul waste from our customers. You got to get a permit for that." And then Ridwell said, "Well, somebody needs to do this," and they said, "All right, we'll do it, and we'll do a great job with it." But then they haven't. There's been no advertising for it. There's been no announcements for it. I had to get online on the chat bot with Waste Management. They don't answer their phone there, and that's fine. That's a customer service decision they've made. But the chat bot took 5 minutes, and I was so. If you're interested in signing up, go online, go to your online portal with your hauler, or call them if they answer their phones and ask them about it. I think if we can get more people to sign up, it'll take off.
Yeah. I see here like Recycle Plus in Washington County, Oregon.
Yeah.
Kind of goes down the list of what they accept, and basically they just give you a Tupperware bin. It's not even a like a big trash can with wheels on it like your other stuff.
It's a big 20-gallon bin with a really nice cover on it. It's purple, and so it really stands out. But we've filled it every week so far, and it's been awesome to be able to recycle that stuff. In the past, I've been having to take it to my sister-in-law's, who still gets Ridwell, and because she's in a different county than us. But
wow, so that'd be interesting to hear how that's impacted Ridwell's business in terms of like just reduced collection because of the lawsuit. Did they have to pay? Did they just have to close? Like,
yeah, I think they were kind of kicked out of certain areas, so they can still collect in Multnomah counties and different areas,
that's
but
crazy.
not where I live, unfortunately. So yeah,
but Ridwell isn't collecting all of the trash.
No,
it was just collecting the hard to recycle stuff.
Exactly. So they finally said, yeah, exactly. No, they got sued by the haulers,
They
and
weren't
they
collecting that
lost.
stuff anyway,
I know it's
right? Like they weren't collecting plastic bags and all, I mean, they are for landfill. They're not collecting it for recycling.
right.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
Oh, I miss it for sure. The Ridwell is a great company. I had this conversation with Ryan Smith from
Mhm.
Recyclops, and he said, Ridwell has been a real leader in this space, and really opened doors for companies like Recyclops, and TerraCycle has TerraCycle Home,
Yeah.
which is the same thing. Although TerraCycle went about it the right way, like Recyclops, and works with the local haulers and says, "Hey, let us do this for you, and let us be that arm for you
Mhm.
in the recycling world, so you don't have to change your behavior." And
That's crazy.
I
I'm still
think it
blown. I'm still blown away that people are suing each other over collecting trash that they're not even collecting.
it's I think it was making an example of them, saying,
Yeah.
"Hey, people can't just take stuff. That's not. This is our garbage, you know."
Yeah, but you
And
should.
we,
It's trash. I can decide where to put my trash. Like,
oh, exactly.
that's insane.
It's fascinating to me.
It's like Uber and taxis. It's like if I want to
Right.
get in some stranger's car, I can get in some stranger's car.
I agree. Yeah, no, I think we'll see a lot of this. Hopefully, this competition will equal better service and more
Mhm.
options. I'm excited to see what happens with Recycle Plus. I think there's a big future there if Waste Management can advertise about it. If there's anybody listening from Waste Management,
Mhm.
reach out to me. Let me know how I can help you spread the word about this campaign.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. I mean, definitely if you know somebody at Waste Management, definitely have them connect with Cory because he'd be the guy to get this word out. Um, yeah, 'cause I'd never heard of it. And I'm not in Oregon,
Yeah.
but I think
Well, I've made several videos about it, and the comments are, "What? I've never heard of that.
yeah,
What is that? That's amazing. I'd love to be able to do that. How do I sign up?" And I said, so I'm excited to share the word that it's possible and it's here. But again, I've never seen another one on another house, but this is very brand new, so we'll see how it takes off.
yeah, no, awesome. All right, dude, let's go ahead and start wrapping this thing up. What do you got going on this week?
Got a new podcast with Natalie This from GSK. It was live from Paris Packaging Week,
Nice.
and she's a real brilliant person in the world of sustainability. And we had a real talk about how big companies are converting a little more slowly to sustainable packaging, especially in the healthcare space.
Mm, nice. Yeah, I got an episode coming up on Wednesday. I haven't dropped one in almost 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was just traveling. I think before, and you were asking like what was I doing? So I got to go to. I
yeah,
was in Singapore. I was in Guangzhou. I was in Shanghai. The team over at idpdirect.com have launched a new factory. It was their grand opening,
great,
which is really cool. It was awesome. It's just south of Shanghai, and it's almost, I don't know, I think it's like 3/4. They've got solar power that powers about 3/4 of the entire
that's
production,
amazing.
which was nuts. Yeah, I was able to go up with the drone, hop up on a ladder, and be totally scared of how high I was up on a ladder on top of this gigantic building. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, just the solar panels are all installed and ready to go. And
Mm,
this is it's a first in Asia because there wasn't a lot of support for
mm,
solar up until just recently. I'd say within the last 6 months, that's kind of changed. But
great.
beforehand, you know, the government would allow you to install solar panels, but they wouldn't allow you to connect it.
Hmm.
So you couldn't draw energy from it because
Fascinating.
they wanted you to use the energy that was provided from all the nuclear plants and everything else. But
Sure.
yeah,
Control issue. Yeah.
oh, 100%. But now that
Yeah.
they're real heavy in sustainability, if you're a truck driver, you're only allowed to drive for 4 hours, and there's cameras on all the roads that like actually track this. And then you get a message if you've been on for more than 4 hours and you've got to pull over or you lose points on your, like, it
Wow.
is nuts. It was
It's
crazy.
amazing.
Yep. And the number of
Shanghai
electric
is
vehicles out there.
it's a beautiful city.
Yeah, it was super, super awesome. Got to hop on one of the high speed trains a couple of times. Why
Awesome.
do we not have public transport like that in the U.S.?
I will never understand. It
Oh
makes
my
so
gosh.
much sense.
Yeah. And it was beautiful. I mean, it was amazing. And they're like they're the maglev trains. So you're doing 330 miles an hour, like almost 400 kilometers an hour,
Hmm.
and you feel nothing. There's like no jiggling or shaking. Like if you've ever been to Subway in New York, none
Yeah.
of that. Yeah. And super
It's
clean energy.
good.
It's nuts, man. Definitely something.
Exciting to see the world change. Yep.
100%. 100%. Awesome, guys. So definitely check us out. Do us a favor. I've got on the Packaging in a Box podcast, I've got the Packaging Pact. So if you are listening to this, if you've learned anything from this or any of our other episodes, definitely go to the Packaging Unboxed YouTube page, and that's the Packaging Pact, right? The only fee, the only thing you've got to pay. This is free, but what you've got to pay is you actually got to go over there and subscribe. That's your payment, and do the same for the Sustainable Packaging Podcast, which is at Corrugated on the YouTube.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.
And thank you, LinkedIn, for sponsoring my podcast. I appreciate it. Part of LinkedIn Presents. Really excited about that LinkedIn Podcast Academy. It's been amazing.
Oh, that's really, really cool, man. All right, guys. Thanks so much. We'll see you.
Thank you.
We'll see you in a week.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully Adam will be back from his trip to Guatemala. Somewhere. All right. We'll see you guys.
Thank you.
Live from Studio 3, this is